Hello everyone, this is Professor for Today with Pastor Pila. And today I want us to discuss a very important subject. And the subject is, it was never about color, it has always been about power. And I'm sure that you are wondering what do I mean. But throughout our history the history of humankind, I'm sure if you would recollect and study more about history, you will find out that, and if you could look intensely, you will find that it's always been somebody wants to overpower somebody wants to rule over somebody. People have always been power hungry. All the atrocities that have happened throughout humankind, it's always been somebody who wants to control someone. You read about Saddam Hussein, you read about the atrocities that happened in Rwanda, and it has never been about color, but it's always been about power. Yes, sometimes it may be somebody of different color doing harm to the next, to someone else who's of different color, but it's never really about color, but it's about power. And today I'm blessed to have our Bishop Judah in the set. Welcome, Bishop. Thank you for joining us. And just before I give over to the Bishop to greet us and extensively discuss some of the things I've highlighted and we are discussing today, I just want to read in the book of Genesis, Genesis chapter 1 verses 27. And I'm reading from the King James Version, and it reads as follows. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. So God created them male and female. And it then goes to say that both were created in the image of God. And therefore, never entertain those who are misinformed and who have different agendas, who are saying people who are coming from apes, they are not talking to you. And yes, we have our bishop to extensively tell us and make us understand why has our people have been so power hungry and to an extent of doing harm to the next for the sake of power. Bishop, welcome, and please share with us what is your take on the matter.
Thank you so much, Pastor Pila. Yes, the issue, it's very sensitive, and these are things that unfortunately are happening in our day. I just want to read from the Bible, the book of Luke, chapter 3, reading from verse 12. Then came also publicans to be baptized, and said unto him, Master, what shall we do? And he said unto them, Exact no more than that which is appointed you.
Okay.
And the soldiers likewise demanded of him, saying, What shall we do? And he said unto them, Do violence to no man, neither accuse any falsely, and be content with your wages. I'll read what the text collector said in NIV. It says, Don't collect more than what is required.
Wow.
That's what John said to the tax collectors.
Okay.
And to the soldiers it says, Do not extort money from anyone,
Okay.
nor harass anyone. So sometimes, Pastor Pila, people, because of power,
Yes.
they tend to harass other people, those that are so-called less superior than them.
Okay.
And it is wrong. That's why John the Baptist was telling them that do not harass the people.
Wow.
Do not, this is a statement that I wrote here. It says here that do no violence against unarmed people.
My. Wow.
Because if you're a soldier, you are armed.
Yes.
So you go to
Trained.
to the people who do not have weapons,
Yes.
and you harass them using your power. That is an abuse of office.
Wow. It's amazing, Pastor, that the Bible is full of everything. The Bible has everything, rather. It's amazing that the Bible even addresses how those who are in authority, police officers and so on, how they should, even politicians, how they should make sure that they do not abuse power. And there's always been men who want to abuse power. As soon as they are given power, they feel like they should get more, and they feel like they should exact more of their authority upon people.
Mm.
And yeah, so perhaps, Pastor, if you maybe expound more on what you've just read, and maybe tell us more why God is so concerned about this, because I mean God should have been concerned about us evangelizing and so on. Why do you think that this is so important to him?
Well, the Lord obviously, as you read, Pastor Pilar, in Genesis 1 verse 27, that we were all created in the image of God.
Yes.
So God never wanted anyone to think that they are superior than other people. It's even worse when you are now using weapons against other people. That's why he says that do not harass other people. So God does not like that. We're discussing this thing, Pastor Pilar, because of an incident that happened recently somewhere in Johannesburg, where the police came armed with so many vehicles, government vehicles, and invaded the church of the living God. And as we hear the story, they took the equipments, church equipments, and harassed the people. And I understand that they even started shooting the people of God. This is what God is saying, that do not harass anyone. Do not harass anyone. This is what happened. So you asked a question. You said, is it about the color or is it about the power? If you are old enough, I'm sure you would remember that during the apartheid regime, the white police used to do that. They used to do that. And I think, Pastor Pilar, you're going to show us some footages so that we can see what used to happen. And that's where you come to this conclusion. Is it really about the color or it's about the power? Why would a black man use his own weapon to harass another black man? So we used to think it's a problem of color, where you find the white police doing that to the black people. But nowadays, it's our own black police that are doing that, Pastor Bill.
I'm actually surprised, Bishop, on what you are highlighting, because from the footages we've just shown, you can see that, as you've just said, that it happened in the old regime. And therefore, I would have thought, someone else would have thought also, that maybe now that we're in democracy, where the rule of, rather, where freedom of speech exists, where there are freedom of religion and so on and so forth. There are a lot of avenues where people can voice their concerns. There are a lot of authorities that oversee these government institutions, and therefore so that they cannot abuse power. So one would have thought that such would not happen in democracy. So I doubt, I don't know, perhaps what's your take, Pastor? Now that we've just seen a footage where it happened in the old regime, and it happened now, we see what is happening, what you just alluded to, which is happening also in the new, in democracy. And therefore, I think it gives substance maybe to what you are, to our subject, that it's never about color, but it's about power.
Truly. Democracy is quickly fading away. The governments of the world are slowly introducing socialism, where every one of us will not have any power. You might say, well, in my own country that is not happening. But the Bible prophesies about a system that will come, the system of the Antichrist, where you will not be allowed to buy or sell if you do not agree with that system. So the power is definitely going to be taken away from you. So, Pastor Pilar, to answer your question, there will be a time, and it's coming very soon, where we will not have any power as people. It's coming, and very, very quickly.
Wow, Bishop, it's really surprising, and I'm really astonished as we are saying that, because we have an assignment as the church to reach out to the lost, to preach, and so on and so forth. Now, with all these confinements that are, as you have said, that laws are brought upon every day and imposed upon us to restrict us. Therefore, how then, as a Christian? What should I do as a Christian who has an assignment to preach? What do you advise to me as a young Christian, as a pastor somewhere, as a believer? What are you advising me as a believer with all that is happening now?
Thank you, Pastor Pila. Well, because of the time that we are in,
Yes.
this is my advice, especially for the pastors, the leaders that are leading churches. Because, Pastor Pila, if you take what happened to that church, they invaded, uninvited. They just came in with guns and began to shoot the people of God. So this is what I think from the Bible. Can I just read the book of Luke again, chapter 22, verse 35 and 36. It says, "And he said unto them, When I sent you without purse and script and shoes, lack ye anything? And they said, Nothing. Then, verse 36, Then said he unto them, But now he that hath a purse, let him take it, and likewise his script. And he that hath no sword, let him sell his garment and buy one." You hear what Jesus is saying?
Okay.
He's encouraging them to go and buy swords, to fight,
Wow.
and defend yourself.
Wow.
Because I know this is going to be heavy for other people, but because of the time,
Okay.
because of the time we are in,
Okay.
I suggest that pastors should get a gun. Go and buy a gun, a license, a legal gun,
Okay.
and protect. When they come, maybe the pastor and several other people may have the gun in the church while you're worshiping. Someone will say, but really in the church? Yes, read the Bible. Nehemiah was doing the work of God with the sword, the Bible says.
Yes.
Because people have this understanding that because it's a church, no one is armed. So we can just go to the church and do whatever we want to do. But if several of others, we are carrying guns, then they will think twice. They're going to say, let us negotiate. Aha, that's what we want them to do. Let us negotiate. Let's talk about it.
Yes.
So, Church of Jesus Christ, the times of playing I'm holy and soft, I don't disturb anybody, I think those days are over. Because they are taking advantage of us. Think about what they were doing. Taking the equipment of the church. And some of these things are very expensive. And breaking things of God.
Wow.
It is not acceptable. So I suggest that as a pastor, I'm going to get one. I'm just telling you now, I'm going to get a gun.
Yes.
If any police wants to try, let him try.
Yes.
That's what I'm going to do, Pastor.
Oh, that's amazing, Pastor. And I'm learning something here. Obviously, not that we are going to acquire guns and attack people, but this is to protect ourselves.
To defend
To
ourselves.
defend ourselves. In fact, I'm reminded of Peter, you know, the disciple of Jesus, who was always with Jesus. And when they came to try and arrest Jesus, Peter drew out a sword and he trying to defend him and his disciples. And then what happened is that, you remember the story, he cut off the ear of one of the soldiers.
And the other thing is that Jesus knew that Peter had that sword all along while they were walking. It's not that he was surprised at the time.
Wow.
He knew that the sword was
the man had the sword.
and he didn't say anything about it.
Wow. And he never reprimanded him and said, you know what, leave this thing at home. No, he carried it him everywhere he went.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing, Pastor. Wow. So we're learning something. Therefore, let's go out and equip ourselves to protect ourselves.
Yes.
To protect ourselves, to protect the church, to protect our families.
And so add something, Pastor Peter. If you check the news, there is no media, at least that I know.
Yes.
They didn't cover that because they don't care about the church.
Okay.
Recently, I think a week after that, there was shootings of the university and all of that.
Yes, yes.
The SABC went there,
Yes.
but with the church, they did not care.
Wow.
It's high time we see these things. The system, the Antichrist, is up and running, and the church is the enemy. We want you to know that. So if you are still playing, we're going to negotiate with them. It's never going to work.
You know, Pastor, on what you're raising, I'm really starting to be concerned as you are saying this, because I take note of the fact that earlier, some couple of months here in South Africa, I think it was in Joburg or somewhere, I'm not sure, or Durban, they invaded the church in the same manner, not a church rather, it was a synagogue, it was where Muslims were praying, and they invaded Muslims. When people saw that footage, Muslims internationally started to to voice their concerns about this, and even our police minister had to go live and apologize on behalf of the country, on behalf of the police force of South Africa.
Think about that.
Now, it's so amazing that the exact thing is done in the church. In fact,
No one says anything.
it's not exact. I mean, they went beyond such that they even had people shot people with rubber bullets. People were bleeding. We all saw that. But no apologies, no statements
No
whatsoever.
one, nothing from the president.
And as you alluded to the fact that a young boy was shot a young man was shot in Joburg again, in Vets. And the police minister went to the family to speak to the family and apologize on the behalf of the police force. So then you can see biasness in this thing. That
Yes.
when it comes to the church, no one cares.
No one.
You shoot the people in the church. No one cares. No one says anything. But as soon as it's the
Other groups.
other groups who are vocal, then everyone wants to go out and apologize. And therefore, I then want to say that it is true, Bishop, what you are telling us, that it has never been about color, but it has always been about power.
Power.
So that is our conclusion today, and we've come to the end of our session today. Thank you so much for watching, and we are looking forward. And please do look forward to our following video, which will come out very soon. And always remember, Jesus is coming back soon.